I'm Paula from the Knitting Pipeline podcast. I have a weekly audio podcast, and then once a month I do a Knitting Pipeline Extra where I show the finished products and whatever I have talked about on the audio. You can actually see them quite easily. Welcome back if you have watched before, and a hearty welcome to those who are here for the first time. Thanks so much for your support. Let's see. Last week I did a tour of my knitting needles, and I really had fun with that. And I may do some more little videos like that. You might get to see my yarn stash. I might talk a little bit more about the needles. I think today what I'm going to do is go into a little more depth with some of the needle choices that I have. And actually, well, we'll get into that when we get to the needles. So, and I don't have a lot of quilting because I haven't been doing any quilting, but I'm going to show you a couple of quilts anyway that I've done before. These are the Pebble Socks by Mina Phillip. I might have been working on these when I did the last one, but I'm pretty sure you haven't seen them yet. So there is a texture pattern that's just on the front of the sock, and then a German short row heel, which Mina has done her own little tweaks on it. And I really like them. This is a man's size 12, and the yarn is Hue Loco, which was a gift from one of the listeners, Sydney. And I'm really happy with the way these turned out. I don't remember when I started them, but some people ask about sock blockers. I don't generally use them. I think they kind of stretch out the top of the sock. So when you are seeing socks on sock blockers, it's just a temporary thing because I like to take them off as soon as possible, especially because, I don't know, I think it's just better not to leave them on sock blockers. And I definitely do not dry them on sock blockers. So another pair of socks by Mina Phillip, and that is from Beyond Vanilla, her collection. This is driftwood socks. I am crazy about this pattern. This was going to be my Christmas Eve cast on, but it ended up being a New Year's Eve cast on. The yarn is from Leading Men Fiber Arts, and oh, forgive me, I cannot think of the colorway, but it is in my project notes, and I zipped through these because the stitch pattern that Mina has on here really is fantastic for a variegated speckly yarn like this. I think you can see. I might throw a photo in here as well. So there's the second one. And it's Oh Christmas Tree is the name of the pattern. And I'm really happy. Those are mine. And then I did the Vintage Fairy Lights by Helen Stewart. This was part of a kit that she did with Little Bobbins, Danny of Little Bobbins, who did project bags. And then the yarn is, suddenly, let's see if I have them. I just suddenly had I'll put it up on the screen. I should know it. I don't know why I can't think of it right now, but the color is Twinkling Lights. Oh, it's Hedgerow Yarns. Sorry. So I can hardly stand to see this stretched out on the sock blocker. These are for me. They went really fast. I think I cast these on. These might have been my New Year's cast on. And it has a traditional heel flap and gusset. I like the yarn. As you can see, it has speckles in it, and I really enjoyed this. There's a twisted rib at the top, and then this pattern, and then the ribbing all the way down. And here's what it looks like when it's not on a sock blocker, so you can see. I gotta take that off. That drives me nuts because I think now this one's going to be stretched out. Okay, so those are 3 pair of socks I finished since Christmas, which is pretty good. It is February 2nd right now. By the way, it's a beautiful, sunny, cold day. It was 17 degrees the last time I looked, but there's no wind, or very little wind, which is rare for this part of the country where I live because we're out on the prairies. I'm Prairie Piper on Ravelry, by the way, and I'm knitting pipeline on Instagram. Forgot to say that. This yarn is Cascade, and I can't remember the name of it, but it is an alpaca wool blend. My friend Kevin gave it to me for a birthday gift. I have another skein of it, and it seemed like a perfect yarn to knit up for a hat for my great nephew, who's a little 4-year-old, adorable 4-year-old who lives in Poland at the moment. But as you know, alpaca is extra warm, and this is very, very soft. Sometimes I have trouble with alpaca with my hands, and it'll make me kind of itch. It's, well, anyway, you know, I can have a little reaction to it, but this did not bother me at all. And I just did a basic hat pattern. I mean, I didn't use a pattern on this. I just made so many hats. I just cast on what I thought. I did look up the average head size for a 4-year-old on the Yarncraft Council of America. And then I figured out with my gauge I needed about whatever number of stitches it was, with about 2 inches of ease and negative ease. And I did that because alpaca has a tendency to stretch, so I went with a little more ease than I normally do. So at some point that'll get off to Poland, but I have to make something for his sister first. Before Christmas, I showed you the Clara dress by Karen Vestigore, I think is her name. And I had purchased the pattern, the print version, at Warm and Fuzzy in Cary, North Carolina. And I knit that for my granddaughter in Madeline Tosh, sport weight. It turned out great. I think I showed you, I wasn't quite finished with it. I don't remember, but anyway, it came down to the wire on that one. I do think it could have been longer. The pattern, I think, is a little on the short side. So there are project notes in there, and I will insert some photos of my granddaughter here. So her Valentine's, I'm going to send off a little package, and I knit this little layering piece, I guess, a short sleeve sweater. This yarn is something flock. I'll put it in here. Sorry, Sue gave it to me. I know it has flock in it. It's a sport weight, and the buttons I purchased at Stitches Midwest. They have little polka dots on them. There are 3 different colors of buttons. This is top down, and yeah, it's a very versatile pattern. It was a gift from my friend. I haven't talked about it on the show yet, but it was a gift from my friend Jan Marie, because she's knit quite a few of these. And this, I knit the 2-year size, but in sport weight, and it's meant for worsted. So our little gal is petite, and I think it's perfect. I've measured it, and I think it'll fit her perfectly. And then I found these little leggings to go with it. I'm looking for a t-shirt, but Target was pretty much out of, so I think it looks pretty cute. And maybe I'll find a t-shirt before this is sent off. But I know I won't have it in my possession the next time I do a video cast, so I wanted to show it to you now. And I'm using that little tip too that Jan gave me to get a t-shirt in the size that the child is wearing at the time. Oh, I didn't say the pattern. That is called In Threes, and it's by Kelly Without a Net, Kelly Herdrick. It's a pay-for pattern on Ravelry. And oh, excuse me, I did do the 2T size. Yeah, I would have done 18 months if I had been using worsted weight. And I think it'll just be perfect. Okay, now let's see. I have a couple of works in progress and a giveaway as well. So let's see. Oh, I wanted to talk about the book texture and my project that I'm doing from this. I reviewed this book on the podcast, and we had a giveaway on the audio. It is by Hannah Fettig, and it was just out right after the first of the year. I got this as a review copy. I was also a test knitter on this. And the book is arranged by weight of yarn. And this is the first project, no, it's the second one in the book. And I have cast on, and I'm well over halfway done with it, I believe. It's called Eventide Cardi. And I am using Quilting Company Finch, which is the called for yarn, in the bird's egg colorway. Now this looks very skinny, and I'm not that size, but it is knitted flat, and so it's rolling on the sides. If I pull it out all the way, you can see, although I have been told that I knit sweaters that are too big for me. So I am loving this. I knit the back in a week, and I'm almost done. I'm almost ready to shape both the front sides, or the right front and the left front. And those are kind of skinny because it's an open front cardigan. So then I just have the sleeves to do, and I'm thoroughly enjoying that. By the way, the sweater I have on, I don't think I said that. I had a little false recording earlier, so I'm repeating myself. This is the Sans Serif cardigan by Elizabeth Doherty, and I really like the fit of this, and it's in Quilting Company Lark in the dogwood colorway. And I'm wearing, this is one of the items I was going to show you too. This is the Project Peace cowl by Christina Campbell, and I used Life in the Long Grass. These are all wool silk blends. Life in the Long Grass, and then I think the rest is Seven Sisters Arts. Yes, it is. And I really like it. The silk makes it really comfortable and warm. Silk is really warm, so that one is a really pretty finished object. Looks like I'm in some kind of a blue phase here with my bird's egg and that. Okay, now let's move on to, let's talk about the give. Well, now I'm going to talk about my cast on that I'm going to do later today. This are my choices for the Snowmelt cowl by Helen Stewart, and it's been in the top patterns for a couple of weeks now. The first clue has been released already, and I can hardly wait to get started, and I will today get started on it. My choices for this, it's a 3-color shawl, and I have some Hue Loco that was sent to me by Nicole. I gave one of those skeins away, and I have 2 here. This is the tweed sock in the ballerina colorway, and that is going to be my color A. And then I have this one, which is Well Water, in the opal sock, which is silk and merino. That's going to be color B. It actually has a little green. It's more like a very, very light green gray. And then I have some Tempted. This is Little Luxe Girl, which is a 80% merino, 10% cashmere, and 10% nylon by Tempted. And the color is Lost, and that's a gray. I may switch the gray out because this is a little heavier than those, and I have plenty of gray yarn, and I have a lighter gray from Test Yarns that is already balled, in a cake, and I could definitely use that. So Helen's mystery cowls are wildly popular, and I am really looking forward to getting started on that shawl. Then when I did the needle talk, let's see, I want to show you the zings a little bit more. This is my current sock project. I was so excited about the driftwood socks that I cast on another pair, but this is a man's size. This is Mina Phillip in the Beyond Vanilla Part 1. I don't know if you can tell, but in this tonal, it just looks beautiful. And there's the German short row heel. These are my zings in size 0, and I talked about them in the needle review last week, or the needle tour. And as you can see, they look a lot like signatures. So I have not yet tried the circular ones, although I just now ordered one from the Woolly Thistle, and I would have ordered more, but the sizes I wanted to was out of, so I got a size 3 and a 32-inch length. I Oh, I thought I was burning the case over here, but I guess I didn't. Anyway, that's okay. So these are metal needle, and then they have, the point is not a separate piece. It's just colored that way, so you do not have any join there. The sizes are engraved or printed somehow on the needle, although on a 0 it's way too small for me to see it, but that's okay. And I am really enjoying these. Usually I use my Dreams double-pointed Knit Pro Knitter's Pride Dreams, sorry. These are Knit Pro, those are Knitter's Pride. And I like those, but I'm enjoying the Zings a lot. And I have a feeling I'm going to love the circular ones. Now, when I talked on the show about needles, I did not say why there are square needles. And the reason is that some people think that the square needles are easier on your hands. And I should have said that. And I talked specifically about the collage cubics, or whatever they call them. It's not cubics, that's what these are. These are Knitter's Pride. And I am getting rid of all those. I actually gave some away to the kids that I'm teaching. And then I have the Knitter's Pride Nova Cubics. These I'm going to sell on Ravelry. They were $8.39 each. I haven't taken them out of the package, so I really don't think I'm going to use them. And then I talked about my die craft. I don't want this to seem like, I don't think I'm going to have any trouble selling these. Let's put it that way. But when I watched the video back, I realized that I probably am not going to use these. I took one out and right away changed my mind. So if you are interested, I will put the prices in the thread in my group on Ravelry, Knitting Pipeline group, and it will be in the number 11 Knitting Pipeline Extra thread. So if you're interested, you can see the prices, and they probably will not be discounted a whole lot because, number one, the wooden ones you cannot get anymore, and then the metals, I've hardly used them. Still have the original packaging for the cables here, and they're, so it's all just pretty much the way I got it. And for the wooden ones, I have the original receipt, which tells what wood is each one. So those will be up in the thread, and kind of hated to say it on here, but I thought some people might be interested, and I want to give you first chance at it, the people that watch the video, if you're interested. My other cast on that I am really excited about, I haven't started it yet, but I wanted to tell you about the Kindness Shawl by Jala Spyro. And this is a free pattern on Ravelry, and it is a semicircular shawl that Jala designed, and it's part of a knit along with Knit Circus. So you can get the pattern, and you can actually use any pattern, and I think any yarn too, but I'm going to use the Knit Circus Sea of Tranquility, and this is in the Lavish base, which is 70% superwash merino and 20% cashmere, 10% nylon. And as you can see, this is a gradient. I'm going to start on the outside of it so that when I get to the gold, I think the gold would look really pretty around the edge of it, and it is a top-down shawl. So that is the Kindness Shawl by Jala Spyro. Okay, I think I'm looking around, I think I've covered everything except the giveaway. So when I ordered my Zings from the Woolly Thistle, Claire sent me 2 skeins of the Blacker Yarns Tamar in the Luster blend. They are 4-ply, which is fingering weight, and each one is 100 grams, I'm assuming, but I will look to be sure. 100% pure wool. Luster blend, 4-ply. Yeah, they're 100 grams. That's what I was pretty sure. And this is really special yarn. She told me I could keep one and give one away. But I have decided to give them both because I already have blacker yarns that I purchased at Edinburgh Yarn Festival last year that I have not used, and I am going to Edinburgh Yarn Festival again this year, so I'll have more opportunity. And then also because I think these two colors look great together. This one is a really soft lavender or soft purple, I guess you could call it. I don't know if it has a shade is Loveny, Loveny. And then this one is Gwindra, Gwindra. And these are white blackers. So it's really special yarn. And I think these would look beautiful in a 2-color shawl. And then you'd have 200 grams to do quite a bit. You could do something. You could actually, what if you did the kindness shawl in these 2 colors? You could definitely work that up in 2 colors. And I think it'd be beautiful. So in order to enter for the giveaway, just go to the Ravelry group for the Knitting Pipeline, just Knitting Pipeline on Ravelry, and then put a comment in the video thread. No, I'll have a separate thread for the giveaway. The separate thread will be for the blacker yarns, and it will say Blacker Yarns giveaway, because I will also open this up to the audio podcast. And I'll have some kind of a prompt in there. It won't be anything too difficult. Okay, I'm going to take a quick break and get a few quilts out to show you. Thanks so much. If you're not interested in the quilting, it's going to be very short today, and I will just show you a few things. Okay, I am back, and I have no idea if my head's in the frame, but that's okay if it's not. I cannot remember if I showed this to you. This was, I think I did, but anyway, I'm going to start from the beginning, try to show you all the quilts I've made in recent memory. But this was the first one I made in a class that I took at the Quilt Corner, and it's a throw size or crib, I think. And it's just a 4-patch alternating with other ones, and this is what the back looks like. So I learned a lot from that, but I'm pretty sure I have not shown you the second one I did. If I find out I have, I'll just cut this out of the episode altogether. So then the next level class I did was also at Quilt Corner. And this was a bigger quilt. And I totally lost my steam. This is beginning to sound familiar. I think maybe I told you this, but anyway. I totally lost my steam near the end, and I forced myself to kind of sloppily finish it, the top. And at that time, I didn't know anybody who finished off quilts. And then 5 years later, I got it out, and I thought I had a lot more work on it, but it turned out all I had to do was, I don't know, get the backing pieced or something, which was super simple, even though I don't like doing it. And I sent it off to Nancy, who was Grace and Peace Quilting in Minnesota. And that was a big breakthrough in quilting for me, because I realized that I don't have to do the finishing quilting myself. And she did a beautiful job. It's kind of a swirl pattern. And I like the quilt a lot more now that I got it done. It's very peaceful and restful. And I don't know if I showed, this is the back, is a gold. So the Grello theme. I literally spent about 10-15 minutes picking out the fabric for that. So then, more recently, in the new wave of quilting, I just took my scraps from that and put them together in this little, I use it as a dresser scarf in the bedroom, even though I never use a dresser much, but I was testing out the free motion quilting, and it's not very good. On the back, there's some of the eyelash effect back here, but I was just doing this for fun, and it didn't really matter to me. So it was kind of fun just to use the scraps. And of course, there's still more scraps. There's always more scraps. So those were done basically in 2010. So the next time I'll show you some of the more recent ones. Oops, I almost knocked. These are trees that my Christmas trees, but I use them in the winter too, that my dad made. So for those of you coming to the retreat in Washington, Illinois, we have, sorry, my button hit the table, that happens. We have a lot of shops on our town square, and one of them is called Step Back in Time. And at Christmas, when my daughter-in-law, my sister, and I went uptown to see what was going on up there on the square, we went in there, and I know some people, some quilters would really object to this, but one of the little areas at Step Back in Time had some, they called them pot holders, but they're made from an old quilt. And I know some people just think that's terrible, but these are only $3 too. So somebody's taken an old quilt, cut it up, and I'm not sure how I feel about that, but it's done. And I wanted some, so I bought them. And to be fair, you don't really know what the rest of the quilt was like. It could have been burned or shredded by an animal or whatever. So anyway, or it might not have been, trying to tell. I don't think it had been quilted because the backing is not the same here as the front. So if you're coming to the retreat and you like little things like this, she had other ones too. You can get in touch with me and I'll let you know about that. Okay, I think that's all I have, and my camera battery doesn't last too long. Thanks so much for watching, and I will be back at the end of February, perhaps, although February is a very short month. I'm actually leaving on March 1st to go to Scotland and Helen Stewart's retreat in Cumbria and Edinburgh Yarn Festival. Just in time, my mail truck is here, and I think it might have some yarn in it. No, I ordered from Susan B. Anderson, and I was hoping that the package was here, and I don't think it is. But anyway, thanks for watching.